Hi, it's Racz. Happy 4th of July. I'm actually going to do 2 rigging videos today. And the second one, since I was talking about skin hook, is I wanted to talk about, there's actually some misconceptions about the traditional Texas rig. And I'm going to showcase the 3 major ways that you can rig a Texas rig. The easiest way on the original Mr. Twister keeper hook, which is still a really good and viable option if you're not around heavy cover, the traditional Texas rig, and the Texapose, and what all 3 of those can do for you. So if you're into fine-tuned rigging and all this kind of stuff, please subscribe to the channel, and it's nice to see the progress and see some good feedback from the channel and hear from it as well. So take care, everyone. Please subscribe. Hi everyone, it's Racz again. Recapping off the skin hook technique. This is really good to go over Texas rigging and of course wacky rigging. We all know that you hook it through the middle, but since that skin hook is kind of a variation between the two, it's kind of good to reference, go over wacky rigging, but dig a little deeper into Texas rigging to some of the nuances that a lot of people may miss. So basically, this is a 5-inch dinger. I had caught, I think, 4 or 5 bass on this last time I took it out. It's pretty easy to Texas rig because it has a groove, a slotted side, so we know that's the bottom. So we know that that's the top and that's the side that we are going to pierce the hook through. So I think that when it comes to Texas rigging, that's what people miss the most, right? It's always the reverse of the top, right? So it's the reverse. So basically, that's the side, this groove side. Kind of hard to see on this worm. It's 2/0 owner. Okay, so when you're Texas rigging, what's the formula? You are going to divide by 2 and subtract by 1. So if it's 5, you're going to go with like a 2/0 hook, roughly. You don't want to go with that bigger one. So what we're going to do is, that's your bottom right there, which is going to face us. And we are going to just barely pierce the tip of this. Right here, just like this. And then we're going to run this bad boy through. And we're going to turn this kind of at the same time so that this bottom section that's slotted, so this pops right in. I like this dinger. I like these soft but yet firm worms. It doesn't seem like the material really matters so much most of the time as finding the fish. So that's a wide gap hook for a wider bait. So you'd use a standard one. So they call these EWGs, or extra wide gaps. So there's your standard Texas rig. Got your open front there. It's totally smooth here, totally weedless. Again, bottom contact bait for big bass. A lot of people like them. Great around timber, thicker expanses of weeds. It's good without a weight up front here. But now we're going to talk about the second equation, which I mentioned Doug Stange again. He is the editor of Fisherman Magazine. He talks about Texas posing it. Pretty much how this would be better almost in every single situation, unless you're heavy timber situation. So what you're going to do is you are just going to push this a little forward, kind of like we did with the skin hook. Okay, and we are going to push this just a little farther back and barely push down. Now you have to really experiment with these soft plastics to really find out what hook style works and everything like this. Believe me, I'm not a pro at this, and this has taken me so long to learn all this stuff, how it can apply to what you use. So basically it's going to be straight, but this is your Texapose variation, and it's kind of like the skin hook. You're just going to have that top of that pierced. So that would be a Texapose, Texas rigged, with just barely the tip of that shining through. And I know Doug would say that that's better because you can go over that timber and that's still, God, this is barely catching my finger right there. So I know it's barely exposed because as a Yamagatsu it would catch. So that's pretty cool. That's your Texapose rig. So that's your Texas first one. Texapose is the second. Easy Texas rig. I'm a big advocate of these. The reason why is I actually know a guide who actually uses these. Use these, I should say. This is the original keeper hook. A lot of people don't realize that. Mr. Twister, I would sharpen these. These are not the greatest hooks in terms of sharpness. They're economical. Sharpening them will catch as many fish as the Yamagatsu. But basically, you don't have any of the turning to do. What you do is you just push it straight on. So you're going to keep your bottom down. And it's really easy. The plus side of this is no matter what style bait you use, whether you're using a trick style worm or whatever style bait you use, it's really easy to Texapose. As you can see, you don't have all that twisting and turning to do. Voila, right? It's pretty easy. It's easy to Texas rig right here. I'm sorry, it's easy to Texas rig if you just push it a little forward like this with your keeper. It's buried in there. It's just a couple pushes literally makes it a Texapose. So it's a very, very Texapose system right there. I mean, you could really Texapose it good right there, yeah. And it's just a really simple system to use. It's a Mr. Twister keeper, but the downside is this loop right here. That doesn't matter if it's left center. And when the weeds are up, this isn't the greatest. So you're actually trying to fish something weedless that actually catches weeds here. So that's sort of a downside. But if you're not really confident with Texas rigging in different types of hooks and you want to buy one pack and you're thinking, hey, I'm going to be throwing 6-inch worms and 5-inch stick baits, these are extremely versatile. They cover a lot of baits. They will Texas rig a wide variety of baits, kind of like that mushroom head. How I mentioned how that covers so many baits. This is kind of the equivalent in terms of versatility. So there you had it. You had your Texas rig, your Texapose, and your Easy Texas. So for more rigging and stuff like that, please subscribe to my channel, and we do appreciate it. Take care, everyone, and I hope everyone's catching plenty of bass, because I know I will be soon. Take care.